biggest bit of advice I would give anyone, and I'm bad at this myself, is Hey guys, my name's George Holliday. I am going to do a really simple video for you guys today because, quite frankly, I've got some really boring gigs this weekend. They're really standard gigs. And I thought the best way to spend time to benefit you guys would be to answer a couple of questions. So I have a question here from a guy called Matt on Instagram. I was going to do a few questions, but I feel like this question is going to fill up this vlog, so I'm going to stick just to the one question. His name is Matt Hua. Like Matt_HUA. So go and show him some love if you fancy seeing what he's about. He's put, hey man, hope all is going well. I know we've only talked here a tiny bit, but I wonder if I could get some tips on how to enter the music industry in terms of creating contact with people. You seem to have a great array of gigs and experience. I might be totally going in the wrong line here, but I'm 16 and I'm a classically trained pianist who also plays drums, wanting to become a producer and songwriter. Would appreciate your advice. Thanks in advance, Matt. First of all, thank you so much for the message, Matt. I really appreciate these messages coming through. It's nice to see that people feel inspired and feel like I can help them with the questions. I always welcome the questions, and I hope that I always answer the questions. Matt's question is quite a common question in a great way. Like, there's a lot of you that want to get kind of where I am at the moment, but if there's a ladder of like 10 steps, I'm on like level 2. So I feel like really, I feel really honoured that the questions are being asked. I don't know how to answer them truthfully because I feel like I'm barely anywhere at the moment. That's how I feel anyway. You know, I'm way down on the ladder at the moment. I'm meeting some great people, and every now and then I've got an opportunity that's like an 8 or like something way up there, but you know, they're so rare that the majority of the time I'm on like a 2. Now level 1 would be like just getting on the gig ladder, like doing like pub gigs, local bars, local clubs, and you know, I still do some gigs. Like today we're gonna go gig at a restaurant. People aren't gonna listen, people aren't gonna care, but you know, those gigs do pay the bills, and they're funding the bus. If you haven't checked the bus, check this link right here. So I'm gonna answer this question in a way that I think will show where I'm looking into the future and how I'm kind of like approaching where I want to be and how I want to get there, so that you guys can kind of like critique or talk to me in the comments below about whether or not you think there's something else I could do. But hopefully that could also benefit you guys, because you might see some sense in the way that I'm kind of like approaching the future. But also I'm gonna speak a little bit about how I got to level 2. Okay, so the first thing you guys need to do is take anything that comes through, gigs, interviews, playing for other people, like literally anything you can think of that comes to you, just take it, because you've got nothing else to lose at this point at like level 1. There's literally nothing else you can lose. It's all experience. You'll have great experiences, you'll have bad experiences, and they're all super useful. When you're on like probably like the first 3, 4 or 5 steps of this 10-step ladder, getting things wrong is the most crucial thing that you can do. You ain't gonna get to the level 8, 9 or 10 if you don't cock up a lot of 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And I'd say that's where the most of my progression has come from, is making errors. So I'm really impatient, but patience is like the key thing in anything to get yourself to the top. Most people don't have patience, so you'll lose people like way down here, and you want to be up here, like sticking through to the long game. The long game is 10 times more important than the short game, I promise you. You've got to stay there, and you've got to love the journey, and when you get to the top you will get the best reward, and patience is the way to do that, and the patience is the only way to get there. So my gap from step 1 to step 2, I would say, was just purely networking. If I'm being like completely honest, I haven't had a lesson or had like a teacher for keys since like before uni. So we're talking like 7, 8 years ago now. The rest of it is just pure, I don't even practice, and it's really bad. I want to practice, but currently I feel like the most important thing to me is I'm at a level that I'm happy with. I'm not like satisfied, but I'll never be satisfied with any of the above. I'll always want to be better, and that's a good thing. Anybody should feel that way. But I feel like I'm at a level that I can do the job. And so I feel like the most important thing for me now is to network and speak to people, all that kind of stuff. So my best advice to get from level 1 to level 2 is just to speak to people, genuinely have a conversation with them. And that leads on to like the next point. When you approach people and when you speak to people, we're talking producers, songwriters, maybe bands that you'd like to join and play with, artists you'd like to play for, anything like that. I would highly recommend speaking to people and approaching people in like a really casual manner. Speak to them about everyday stuff, like the weather, what they've been up to, like the dogs. Like, you can be really basic, or you could like go in with like a nice deep conversation, but start casual. That's the key starting point. I feel like people warm to you and like they're more intrigued to want to know more about you if you don't approach them straight, like cutthroat, I want to work with you, I love what you do, this and that, because they've probably had like messages from tens of people saying the same thing. If you make friends with them and then you start afterwards being like, oh, by the way, yeah, I play keys and I did this really cool thing last week, and yeah, I feel like you'd have really enjoyed it and stuff, then you're speaking to them on like a personal level. That would be a huge bit of advice that I have felt has got me from level 1 to level 2 on this little ladder, and that's kind of where I feel now. And now it's just a matter of waiting to speak to the right person that's going to be able to take something to the next level. But yeah, my number 1 bit of advice, Matt, would be to just take everything that comes your way, put yourself in a position that work can come to you, but you're kind of more at the stage where you're gonna have to go and find the work, go knocking on people's doors. But yeah, keep it really casual, man, and go into it with absolutely no expectations. One of my favorite quotes, I say favorite quotes like I have no idea where it came from or whether or not it was just something that I felt was relevant. Expect nothing and gain the world. If you're expecting nothing to come from what you're going out to do, then everything that comes back you're going to be like super happy about, and it's gonna change your life and make you feel great about what you're doing. It could be the smallest of things, but if you weren't expecting that smallest of thing back, it's a bonus. It's a great thing. We always say, I look down here because Marley's sat down here. We always say if we go into a gig and we're like super excited about it, it's never ever as fun. Like pretty much all the time we come off stage and we're just like, yeah, it was good, it was okay, but it wasn't what we were expecting. If you go into a gig or go into any opportunity and just expecting nothing, the results are always sick. Like you always come out buzzing. That would be my advice for today. Thank you so much for the question, Matt, and I hope that answers a few other people's questions. If you've got any comments on anything that I've spoken about, then please do comment below. I'm always like wanting to learn and hear other people's opinions, and yeah, I think it's a great way to progress in this world and in your career, to learn from other people. So yeah, that's all I wanted to speak about today. I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you in the next video on Thursday. I'm not sure what's going on this week. I'm writing with Tom for the first half of the week, and I'm working on the bus the second half of the week, so it might be a mix match vlog. So definitely subscribe, and don't forget to hit like on this video if you've enjoyed what I've been talking about, and I will see you on Thursday. And remember, never stop creating. See you later, guys. Bye.